Greetings, trackers. Today I'm out on a dirt road following the trail of a black bear. Now this is not a really obvious trail. It's very, very subtle and you have to look super carefully, but it goes right along this edge right here. And the reason these tracks are so subtle is because they're in dust over a layer of firm soil. So they're really hard to pick out, but there's one right here. I want to show you some of these details. So this one is the front track, and all you see is the outline of the pad. The toes left very little imprint because there's so much fur on their toes. Now right here, that's the hind track. So see this edge right here? And it comes down here, and this is the heel area. You can see fur imprints right here in the soil, which tells me that these are fairly recent tracks. There's also a slight color difference between this marking and the surrounding soil. We've had a little bit of wind, so not enough wind to really knock these out yet, but you see this pad comes up. So here's the shape. That's the shape of the right hind pad, and then up here you can see very subtle toe marks up here. So can you pick them out? If I get a little further away, sometimes it makes it a little bit easier to see the outlines of the toes, and you can see them here. So they're ahead of the pad in kind of an arc. You stepped on that. There's a toe there, and there. The inner toe is tiny, really didn't show up very well. But there's the pad, this flattened area. So from a distance, that flattened area will show up. And so if I look ahead, 6 feet or so, you can actually pick out those flattened areas. So note right here, there's a flattened area, and see how that kind of stands out from the surrounding soil. Now right here, what you're seeing is the color difference. This and this are two bear tracks. You can tell that they're relatively fresh because of this color difference in the soil. So up close, particularly on this track, you can see how this soil that's been disturbed is a little darker than the surrounding soil. And that's because the moisture that was in there has been raised to the surface by the imprint of this bear's foot. And in this case, there's a lot of fur marks here. So that foot was kind of dragged in there and left fur marks that are just these little striations. And it's heading in that direction. So the color difference and the reflectivity of the track versus the surrounding soil. Here's a left hind track right here, and notice how it kind of stands out from this far back because it's flat, and the surrounding soil is a little more, how do I want to put it? It's a little more rough. It's not a flat surface, and so the light is reflected in a different way off that flat surface of the track, because bears walk flat-footed or plantigrade, and the surrounding soil is a little more lumpy, so it's not reflecting the light in the same manner that the track is. So it's a beautiful left hind track here, and then here's the right front and right hind, and then you can see another one. Now I'm deliberately staying back so that you can see what it looks like from an angle to look at one of these tracks. I'm going to zoom in. So now you can see it a little bit better. This beautiful track right here. And from a distance, you notice the pattern, the flattening, the difference in the reflectivity of the light. So as we head up the road here, there's a set of 3 toes right here from an older bear track that's worn. It's been weathered. So it's not as flat as this one, which is flat and clear and easy to see. Relatively easy to see. So there are 2 trails here, one older and one newer. The one I'm showing you now is the new one because that's the one that's easiest to see, and also the characteristics that make it easier to see will help you see these better in your own tracking adventures. So here is the pad outline with the little split in the heel here from the left hind foot and all 5 toes, and also a lot of fur imprints there. So as we go up the road, looking ahead is actually easier than looking right at your feet because you can pick out the tracks from a distance because of that difference in how they reflect the light towards your eye. So they're a little bit easier to pick out from a distance. And that's just a little fun following a black bear trail on a dirt road with a firm surface covered with dusty soil. So I hope you've enjoyed and learned a little bit about following black bear tracks, and this applied the principles here of looking for the flattening and the disturbance, the color change, and the reflectivity. Those all apply to other tracks as well. So it can apply to that human track just like it can apply to the bear track. At this point, the bear is beginning to cross the road, and you can see these tracks going this way, right up the center right there. Notice the color difference that is allowing you to see those tracks. Very subtle color difference. A little bit darker where the tracks are. And the reason is this is a firm road surface and it does not have that coating of dust on it. So it's a slightly different way of seeing the tracks. You're actually seeing just these darker smudges where the tracks are. And you can pick them out from a distance a lot better than you can pick them out from right on top of them, because right on top of them there's hardly any detail there. So my battery is about to go, but I wanted to show you that it looks a little different on this type of a substrate where the trail is going here and you're looking at darker smudges against a background of lighter soil. So as this hard-packed dirt and gravel gives way to actual gravel up there, it's going to be a lot more difficult to see this trail. So I'm just going to follow it and show you what I'm seeing here, the little tracks. Now when I get up here, they sort of begin to be way more difficult, and they are just mere smudges. So the gravel itself doesn't have a lot of soil around it, making it much more difficult to pick these out. So right in here, mere smudges. And the bear is on the left side of the road now. It has decided to cross the road. So it might be going off the road here. There's a nice little trail there. Now at this point, it's difficult to tell, although I think I still see it going that way. So it does not look like the bear went off the trail. Looks like it's stuck to the road. Yeah, because here we've got, still have the smudges. It's not much to go on, but sometimes that's all you have, and you just have to work with what you've got. And it's still going up the road here. And the bear crossed the road again. Now we're on the right side of the road looking at this just set of smudges going up this edge of the road. That is the trail of a bear within probably the last couple hours. So they're really hard to see. And right here you can see some of the toes, and the fur marks right here give it away. You can actually see the fur, and here's the edge of the pad, which helps to give it away. So the bear was heading up here and probably off the road, because there is a little trail right there that goes onto the ridge, and he can drop down the other side and get find some food sources. And I don't think he went down the hill, because that goes to a redwood forest where there's not much food for a bear. Okay, the bear did come up this way. You can see an outline here and a rough outline right there, and then it went up this trail. So it went into the forest and probably over the ridge from there. So that's where our bear went, and I'm going to leave it here because my battery is just about to go. Just more footage slowly following the bear's trail, backtrailing it here. They're just mere smudges. Tough to see, but it's there.